How's it going, guys? It's Cole from See Through Panel showing off Peter Cannon Thunderbolt by Gillen and Casper Wjingaard, published by Dynamite in this oversized hardcover. There's the spine. And retailing for, looks like $30 US. There it is. Before we get too deep, I'm not going to be spoiling much, but I am going to be flipping through it. I've really enjoyed this read, just as a spoiler. I really enjoyed it. I want to gush about it a little bit, but I'll try and keep things short. Why I liked it, the references I enjoyed, the play with the medium that I enjoyed. I'm not going to be spoiling the story directly, but I will be flipping through it and talking about the broad points of it. So if you're worried about that, it was a highly celebrated series when it came out. It won a lot of awards. Actually, I know it was up for some awards. I don't know if it won. But yeah, it was very popular, so hopefully you've read it. If not, grab this. It's only $30, or just read it digitally. It's only a 5-issue miniseries. You can read it so fast. I read it in like an hour and a half maybe, and then reread a lot of it again in an equally short amount of time. Anyway, this is essentially a play on Watchmen. It is the Charlton character that Ozymandias is based on, is Peter Cannon. So we have writer Kieran Gillen, artist Casper Wjingaard, colorist Mary Safro, letter Hassan Asmani Elhau. Names, well, as always, I probably butchered the names. This is a bit oversized, so it doesn't fit perfectly into frame, but I'll try and keep things together. This is just a take and a deconstruction of the deconstruction that is Watchmen. It is layers of meta. It is about Peter Cannon's homeworld being invaded by aliens, and then him realizing, this is not really spoilers, it's issue 1, him realizing what the threat is, and it immediately your mind goes to Watchmen when you think of this threat, and Casper Wjingaard's art is just awesome. I've really always enjoyed his art. I will say I like it better when he colors himself. There are hints of the Wjingaard that I love coming through here when it comes to design choice and just like the storytelling, the narrative aspects. But I really think the colors just look... The colors are what brings it down for me to like not be a 10 out of 10 book, because I really love how like meta this is and how inside baseball it is with comics. But the coloring, while good, I think is a little samey and a little bland and kind of just a book that I think is supposed to elevate the medium and really work outside of the bounds of the normal comic format and just play with all these things in the form of the medium. It needs to have something a little more groundbreaking in terms of art, and I think that the line work and the ink and everything does that, but I think that the color is just bland. I think it's normal, it's average. And if this would be, maybe if it came out 2 years later and Casper was coloring himself, I think it would be just such a celebrated book. Like people would still be talking about it all the time. Because I really love it. Here's a play with the 9-panel grid, and I love this when we're crossing over to the light spoiler. I'm going to do a light spoiler here, jump like 10-20 seconds forward. When we're crossing over into the Watchmen universe, or just this other universe here, we immediately get Watchmen-esque font and chapter-like title and a 9-panel grid imitation, and it really plays with that a ton. There's a bunch of subtle references, a bunch of work with the 9-panel grid and experimenting with that, and crazy layouts going through these pages. Here we have it again. So there's really not a ton I can say without spoiling it. Just let me say that you're going to get characters talking to a narrator. You're going to get meta stuff where panel differences in panel structure are noticed by the characters and commented on. You're going to see time shenanigans, and then you're going to get a crazy middle chapter that I don't know. I tried not to look anything up because I'm trying to, base this on my own feelings. I might look it up when I'm done here. I think this is an Eddie Campbell reference, this whole issue. It looks like it's hand-lettered by Hassan, and the style's way different. Casper is still drawing this. It's just such a different vibe. I think it's an Eddie Campbell kind of like style and breakdown and structure, but I have not read all of his work. But there is a cartoonist in here that says his name is Eddie, and they even put thanks after. I think the Doctor might be Alan Moore. I wish I knew who the other guys were, like Johnny and Lauren and Danny. I don't know. But super meta middle part. that keeps going and kind of like creeps its way into the last issue. And essentially, this is just like a follow-up of The Watchmen in my mind. I haven't reread The Watchmen for about a year. But it's just so impressive, the layering of references and deconstruction and almost reconstruction that Kieran Gillen is doing here. I think narratively it flows super well. It's super concise. It has a great pace. I mean, you can clean through this thing in 2 hours if you're really stopping to enjoy the art. And we could probably do it in an hour if you were speed reading it. But I'm sure you've seen this page before in another book, perhaps. There's even what I think is a plot hole that is... I need to look this up, and maybe Kieran Gillen talks about it after. There's a plot hole here where essentially there's a hole that we escaped out of, but it was sealed back up, and then he comes back to come back in to where he escaped out of, and the hole is there again. But I think that the hole is just there again literally because this is a scene from Watchmen, and in the scene from Watchmen, there's a hole in the window for Rorschach to climb up. I think. I don't know. And he says, I need to follow in his steps. Just need 2 things. And it's the mask and the hole in the window. I can't say much without spoiling it, but it just is a crazy amount of this is interesting too. Crazy amount of play with the genre. A flaw in his structure, and he's looking up, and I think he's either talking about the hole, or he's talking about that this is now a 4-panel line here, and this is not a perfect 9-panel grid. It's a flaw in the structure. I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I've been wanting to make this video for about a week now, because I just want to look things up and read interviews with Kieran Gillen and know what he's talking about. Overall, I adore this book. If you're really into comics, I think it'd be good for you. If stuff like this is kind of pretentious, I know some people think that, or it's a little too into the meta-narrative of comics or the form of comics, then maybe skip it. But if you really like Watchmen and that kind of deconstruction, and you're interested in exploring that some more and playing with both the themes of Watchmen and the deconstruction of comics that Watchmen provided, but also going kind of into what makes Watchmen itself outside of being those things, this is perfect for that. I really don't have a lot to say. I gave this a really high rating. I think it's awesome. I've had it in my collection for quite a while, and I never read it. It's a cool choice for Gillen to be offered Peter Cannon and just say, oh, that's the guy Ozymandias was from. I'm going to use that and reference himself to make it a full circle and just reference. And it's Ozymandias referencing Peter Cannon, referencing Ozymandias. So it's interesting, and just has... I have so many questions. Let me know if you've read this and what you thought about it, if you were as impressed as I am. Because I could just picture... I have a friend who just reread Watchmen, and I can picture him reading this and just absolutely hating it and thinking that it's just a little too self-indulgent. So let me know what you guys thought about it. I could definitely see that being the case, but I personally really enjoyed it. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace.